All right, and we are live. Hello, everybody. It is great to be here. We'll be hanging out for just 1 minute to give everybody a chance to hop on the event, and then we'll get started. So while we are waiting just for this minute, please feel free to drop into the chat where you're viewing from. So where in the world are you located? And this is a little bit of a test, so please feel free to use that chat there. Awesome. So while we're waiting as well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we'll see if this goes through. Okay. Alrighty. So again, thank you everybody for coming. Looks like we have a couple people in the audience. Awesome to see you. So for today's construction technology webinar, it's a little bit of a different format. Today I'll just be sharing a little bit about more about the program that we have here for you guys and how you can get involved. So without further ado, I'll jump in to our content today. So we're going to talk about intro to webinars, connecting contractors and construction technology startups. So today's agenda, it's a brief background for me, introducing myself, what we do at EKC. We get into about the construction technology webinars, of course, how to participate. So there's a lot of individuals as well as organizations who have reached out saying like, hey, how can I take part in one of these sessions? And then we'll wrap up and conclude. So a little bit of a shorter session today, but hopefully we get some good info out to you guys. All right, so moving on, this is a little bit about me. My name is Erin Khan. I'm the founder of Erin Khan Consulting. It's all in the name there. And my background is, of course, in construction. So I started as a project engineer out here in Los Angeles in Southern California, working on historical renovation projects. Very quickly got into the technology side of the industry. I found it as a true passion of mine to connect operations teams to, I guess, more efficient and effective and safer ways of working through technology. I did eventually end up at Suffolk Construction, where I had the amazing opportunity to just focus just on tech and innovation with a fantastic team. But I did end up starting EKC in around the end of 2023, or start of 2023, rather, end of 2022, to do more in the industry. So really excited to be here. If you're watching on LinkedIn, feel free to connect with me. And my messages are open, so feel free to reach out. So for a brief overview, let me go back here. There we go. So what we do primarily at EKC, the goal in short is to connect contractors with technology providers to enhance collaboration so that we can deliver more effective construction projects and buildings. So that's really the end goal. We want to, of course, bring digital tools to the industry. There is so much potential and capability out there for process efficiency, enhancing some of the things that we do every day for the built environment. And that's the core of what we do at EKC. To go maybe a step further as well, so I work both with contractors as well as construction technology startups. There's a variety of things that each entity kind of deals with day to day that I have some experience with. So if you're curious about more details, feel free to reach out. But again, the overall goal is to connect those two parties together so that we are kind of getting the best of both worlds there. All right, so for these construction technology webinars, like why do them in the first place? And the answer is kind of simple. There's a lot of needs out there in the industry, and there are a lot of solutions. So we want to connect the two. So with contractors, I get asked time and time again, hey, where can I find interesting solutions that my team might want to check out that are effective, or might spark some thoughts about how we can work a little bit better. I also get asked from tech providers, like, how do I reach contractors? So this webinar platform is essentially the glue that can help connect those two together. So that's really the why behind it. So getting into it on a deeper level, the core philosophy behind these is really for education and awareness. So it is pretty difficult to find like something that's a regular touch point that's really easily accessible and free to find information about different solutions, and also to share out, best practices about what we're seeing in AEC innovation. So there's a strong focus here. It should be always educational or have some sort of educational component. So we want you, our audience, to take away something valuable at the end of the session. Also for startups, there is a huge, and even, it's continuing to grow, ecosystem of really amazing tech solutions that are out there. There are so many, and it's always tough to kind of give an accessible platform where they can kind of share out to the industry. So again, that kind of gives those startups a little bit of a boost to share what they're working on. So as I've mentioned a few times, it's probably a little repetitive at this point. But again, the essential thing here is the collaboration between the two. So we want it to be interactive, informative, and kind of get the industry thinking in some more creative ways. All right, so when do these happen? So far, they've been around once a month. Starting here soon, we'll be increasing that frequency to around twice a month. So typically it's scheduled around the middle of the month and then the end of the month. I'm very open to feedback though, so if anybody has any time or schedule preferences, please speak up. So very open to incorporating that feedback. One other thing as well, so there is kind of a tricky balance with time zones. So typically it ends up being around the time when you're going to have your morning coffee on the West Coast where I am, and maybe a good time for a lunch and learn on the East Coast. Again, open to feedback. So if anyone has any specific day, time, preferences, please let me know. So I want to make it easy for people to kind of join and see. So timely information. So everything is live streamed, which is a little bit of pressure to kind of deliver something really of high quality, like right on the spot. But hopefully it's timely information. You get something that's exciting, that you don't have to wait around for it to be published. So you're getting a real-time touch point with some of the most exciting things that are happening in the industry. All right, so who do we bring in? So technically these are open to anybody, but we really like to hear from expert speakers in the industry. Of course, there's that emphasis on educational content, and also from startups and tech solutions. So if you are interested in speaking, please don't be shy. Feel free to reach out. And then it's, again, open to anybody. I will mention as well, so these aren't strictly for construction technology solutions. The format can be pretty flexible depending on what it is that you may want to talk about or focus on. So we have had sessions in the past that have been fantastic where we have a panel discussion about women in construction for Women in Construction Month. That was one of my personal favorites, I think, of the types of discussions that we've had. I've also hosted organizations like ACE Mentor to share a little bit about what they're doing in the industry to support students and up-and-coming professionals for the industry. So we're not just limited to technology, we're also limited to or expanding to other topics in the industry. So don't be shy. There is some flexible content here. And I'd love to keep things interesting according to, what you guys find useful. I'll take a moment to pause here as well. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to drop that into the chat. I will be able to see it and be able to address it. So feel free to use that if you want to share any thoughts or anything that you're wondering about. Okay, so how do you get access? And this is something that I definitely want to keep it this way throughout the entire course of the series. It is always going to be free to access, and there's no signups. So these are live streamed events. Anybody who is on LinkedIn or YouTube, for example, can find the live stream and join. So there's nothing really beyond being able to have access to the live stream that you need to do. And also there's no registration. So I'm not collecting anybody's emails. So I don't necessarily know who's actually attending these. So I'm not sharing any or collecting and sharing any data. So be assured that there's no information being collected through these events. So again, we want to keep it valuable for you, and just keep in mind that there is nothing really that you need to do beyond being able to access LinkedIn or YouTube, and no registration at all. So no emails are collected, no names are collected, that sort of thing. All right, so I kind of touched on this briefly, but where are these being streamed? So LinkedIn is the, I guess, main platform that these are being streamed on. But also there is a YouTube channel that exists for EKC. So feel free to check that out. I believe that this will be pretty much the first video that's on there from the live stream. So feel free to go to @Erin Khan Consulting. You can check out the live stream there and start to engage. So again, it's all real time. I think one of the benefits of having like the real-time live streams is that you get it right away. And there's also a recording later on should you want to catch up on it later. So especially I know for LinkedIn, you can always go back to the main event page, see the recording. If you want to share that out with your team or find something valuable, pretty easy to just copy paste that link and you have access to the recording there as well. Okay, so how to participate. So you can reach out to me. There are a few, I would say, win-wins for participating in these. Of course, one is exposure. So you are getting to share and speak in front of whoever is tuning into the live stream on LinkedIn and YouTube. So it's a pretty big audience that's out there, I think, in AEC that's interested in construction tech. There's also a couple other things that are really great in these types of forums. So you do get feedback in real time from people who are commenting and interacting with the live stream. And then, of course, I think there's always a networking component that comes in with any type of social media or online events. And I see that we do have a comment coming in. Thank you so much. And I'm just taking a second to read this. And it says, great initiative, could be an interesting output of this to build out an ecosystem map of solutions in different categories of AEC. So 100%, we should talk after this. There are quite a few of those types of maps, I think, floating around. Would love to dig into that together a little bit more. So thanks for that comment. Fantastic. So rolling right along. So how do you get in touch with me? Throughout the course of this presentation, I've been saying like, oh, just reach out, just just message me. But how do you actually do that? So on the screen here, a variety of ways to get in touch with me. The first one that we have, you can scan that QR code. It will take you to the Calendly link that you see there below, which will allow you to schedule 30 minutes with me to talk about how to start a webinar session with me. So pretty simple, scan the code, and then pick a time that works for you. And then we'll talk more about what this means in detail on how to get one going for you or your team. The Calendly link, it's the same as the QR code that you scan there, but just wanted to put that on the page in case you're not able to necessarily scan and you just want to type it into your browser. So it's a 30-minute link there. And then the last two, of course, LinkedIn messaging. I actually do check my messages, so please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and shoot me a message. And then, of course, there's always email, good old reliable email. So Erin at erinconconsulting.com is my email. So any of those methods are fantastic to get in touch with me. All right, so how to get involved and contribute. You can 100% schedule your own webinar. You can also come and attend. So I would love to hear feedback. I'm kind of developing a few ways that will be a little bit easier to stay in touch about the schedule and when things are happening. But would love to hear your feedback. So feel free to give any comments or any other thoughts. And then participate in the discussion. So one of the things that's pretty tough about like a live stream event, you never really know how engaged the audience is in the discussion. Sometimes you might have some quieter people out there. Sometimes the chat is really involved and you get some really good thoughts going. So I would encourage anybody that's coming to these, feel free to post a comment or any idea or anything that comes to mind, because it just encourages that sharing and thought leadership in the industry that is really moving us forward together. So let us know your thoughts. So it is a pretty short presentation today. We're at the end of the slide portion. So at this point, I do want to say thank you for those of you who have tuned in for this live discussion today. In general, again, the ultimate goal is to connect us in the industry, especially between builders and tech providers. So building that bridge. The main foundation is learning and sharing, that educational component. We want to make sure that you're getting value out of these sessions and that it's not a sales pitch and you're actually learning something about different topics that can help you be a better builder or better participant in AEC. And then the last piece there, it is, again, that innovation, that kind of pulling forward of the industry. And we want to, bring the best of what we're working on all together. So, we can benefit. Our job sites can benefit. We can be safer, more effective, and deliver some pretty cool projects. So with that, I will say thank you again. I see another comment. Thank you so much. It says, I'm always looking to learn more, and you've been someone I've followed for a while. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. So I definitely have a passion for doing this in the industry. I know I always go back to my early days as like even an intern out on the job site and wanting to be more effective in my role. And that's ultimately what it all comes back to, is like, how do we leverage technology as tools as they are to help us be the best builders that we can be. So thank you so much. I'll now pause for maybe just a minute or two to see if we have any questions. And I'll stop our screen share here. Alrighty, so Fantastic. So hanging on for any more questions or comments, and then we'll wrap up shortly. Hopefully, those who are tuning in, you kind of get back to your day. Would love to see you at our next session, which is scheduled. We have 2 scheduled in March, so stay tuned for some exciting updates for next month. And I don't see any other comments or questions coming in. So thank you once more. Really appreciate the time and attention. I think that's always a limited and extremely valuable resource. So thank you for spending it with me. And I hope to see you on some of the next contact webinars. So thank you and see you soon.